Holy shit. We got some videos up to 100 views. That's pretty crazy. In the grand scheme of things, 100 really isn't a lot, but shit, it's a lot more than I expected. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Just really cool to see. But the views are not what's important. What's important is, doing what I'm doing. Consistently going to the gym, tracking the macros, getting some good sleep, staying hydrated. So hopefully this will be a little bit of a testament, or maybe we'll call it proof that, I'm consistent with what I do. And I practice what I preach, if that makes any sense. But today's legs. And I'm not going to lie. I swear I just did legs yesterday. Like, it's crazy to me though. It just feels like, man, I'm already back doing legs. And that's mostly because legs is just the hardest day. Not only is it the most like physically stressful, but it's also a big mental game too. Like, to be able to hype yourself up to even just go and do legs, it takes a little bit of discipline. And especially when you're in there, like once your legs start burning while you're doing your set of whatever, it's a lot harder to maintain that mental fortitude to keep going, like to push through that burning, because it's intense. It's pretty fucking insane. Like, compared to like chest day, where, you get to like rep number 7 or 8, your chest starts burning. It's a lot more manageable. And like, you have more of a proclivity to keep pushing through the burn. But with legs, man, shit, it's kind of scary. But I also think like that's kind of a part of why it's fun. It's kind of a lame way to put it, but having like an insane set of squats where you are pushing yourself to the absolute limit, you are burning, everything's clicking, and it's just like, it is a fight. That's the closest you're going to get to like a berserk style, like fight to the death. At least that's how I envision it mentally. Like, when I'm on like rep number 9 of heavy squats and I am just fucking fighting, like the reps are slowing down and everything, I'm imagining myself going toe to toe with one of the apostles, and it's just me and my sword, and I have to fucking win. Like, death isn't an option. I don't care what it takes. It'll take every single ounce of strength in my body to be able to finish that set. So, I don't know. That's how I like to think about these things. It really does motivate. Like, even talking about it right now, I'm kind of excited. But just something to think about. Today's been one of those days, like, it's just a really lazy, I don't really feel like doing anything. I'm just kind of tired. I would love to just kind of rot all day. Like, I just want to sit here, play some games, scroll on TikTok and stuff, and just do absolutely fucking nothing. But I gotta hit legs. It's not really up for debate on, I can skip today, whatever. It's not really like that. In my mind, it's leg day. I'm gonna go and hit legs. So I think for like somebody who's really just starting to get into it, I think the content of your lift is not as important as it is to just go and do it. Like, you shouldn't be putting all of your resources, like your mental faculties, into like, okay, like I gotta design like the perfect split. I have to make it like, I want to make sure that I hit every muscle group. I want to have like RPE2 or whatever the fuck. That's not really important. It's just getting into that like habit of, okay, like today is this day, I'm going to the gym, no matter what. And then associated with that, of course, is like everything else associated with lifting. Tracking your macros, rest, this, that, and the other. So, I am just chugging along. I am excited for legs, though. Back when I was bulking, and I say bulking with like heavy quotations because, again, I realized that I should not have bulked when I did, considering I was already at a higher body fat percentage. But when I was in a state where I had tons of carbs in me, I was like fully beefed up and everything, fully energized, nowhere near a depleted state. Like hitting legs, it was a little easier because I had more energy to do it. And the pumps technically are better. But one thing that I've noticed as this cut has progressed is the pumps that I get for legs these days are like miles better than they were when I was bulking. And I think that can be attributed to a couple of things. One of the biggest reasons is that I don't have as much body fat covering my actual like muscle insertions. So when I do get a pump, I can actually see what's going on, as opposed to back then where I was like significantly heavier. It kind of all gets washed out just because of all the body fat. And another thing is, I think it's just like I bulked so long ago, like in the realm of lifting, it's really not that long, but I mean, this was like well over a year and a half ago. Well, I wouldn't say that, probably a year ago. Yeah, a year ago I was bulking. And while I like somewhat knew what I was doing, like I kind of think back to how some of my leg days would go. I really didn't. I really didn't know what I was doing. I just kind of had like, I was just kind of hitting whatever. Like I was definitely pushing myself intensity wise. At least like at the time, relative to where I was at, it was intense. But there was no real like structure or logic behind like the exercises that I did. Like I remember I would load up like on squat and I would sit there and I would do like 4 or 5 sets of squats, and none of the sets really came close to failure. My form was atrocious, and at the time I would wear like, I had this weightlifter, I still have it. It's a badass like leather. I think the brand's like Hoist or something. But it's this awesome fucking, like belt. And I do love that thing. I got it as a birthday gift from my older brother. I gotta show it in one of these videos because, so it's like just like pure leather. And I found a guy in the area that does leather work. He does like leather engraving and, you know, he makes holsters and whatever. So I messaged him and I said, hey dude, like, do you do custom like engraving? I have this weightlifting belt. I have a thing that I want like embroidered onto the back of it. Is that something you can do? He was like, hell yeah, dude, bring it over right now. So it was literally same day. But for those of you that are like into anime, if you watch One Piece, which you should, there are the Whitebeard pirates, and their Jolly Roger is pretty fucking badass. It's a skull with a really big like horned mustache. And a lot of the Whitebeard pirates, they get the Jolly Roger tattooed on their back. So I had that exact Jolly Roger laser engraved onto the back of the belt so that when I'm wearing it, it is pretty much like in the center of my, like the small of my back. So it is badass. Like wearing a weightlifting belt while, doing squats already makes you feel badass. But knowing that that pirate logo is there too, it's fucking sick. But I'm losing the point of what I'm even talking about. Back then I would do these like 5 scrappy sets of squat, and I'd do it with a belt, and it really just wasn't necessary. Um, the point that I'm at now, I could probably justify using a belt every now and again, but I don't know. I think the point that I'm at right now, or like the goals that I have, I'm not a power lifter. I'm not very interested in doing powerlifting or anything. And I also think that it's a lot more impressive seeing somebody squatting like 225 or whatever, like raw. Uh, if I see somebody lifting 225 and they're fully equipped with like knee sleeves or wraps or whatever and a belt, I think we're kind of like missing the point. Because at that point, I feel like it's not so much about the lift itself. It's just like kind of dressing up and putting on all this shit. Um, and that's not to take away from anybody's successes using belts and wraps and whatever. I could probably benefit from like knee sleeves or something, but that's just not what I'm interested in. But point being, I did a lot of unnecessary work and my pumps were like terrible back then. But now it's insane. It is, if we had to put it on a scale of Freak Bob and Freakward, I'd say I'm about where Freak Bob is. Um, but as for legs today, I think we're going to do more of the same. A variety of hamstring curls, finish off hamstrings with RDLs. One thing I saw, by the way, about RDLs, I saw somebody setting up their RDLs where they had like 5-pound plates under the tips of their toes. So their like toes kind of point upward. And I kind of got to thinking about like the biomechanics behind it. And I want to try it out. It makes sense that uh, if I supinate my toes, that it would help bias the hamstrings even more than the movement allows for. So I'm going to give that a shot today. See how that feels. I mean, at the very least, for the sake of variety, why the hell not? And then as for legs, my last leg day, we did a bunch of like leg press and then leg extensions and some sissy squats. And after I finished that lift, like especially after I finished that set of sissy squats, I kind of thought to myself, I should have done squats. Like I felt super strong, on last leg day. So if I feel the same way today, I might do some squats. But ultimately the goal is just going to be to get pumped, have a absolutely phenomenal leg day. So if I can record, I will. It is a Thursday afternoon. It's like 4 o'clock. So I expect it to be pretty busy with like the post-work crowd and everything. So we'll see what I can muster. But till then, I'll see you guys. Onward. Yeah. Yeah. Holy shit. That was a crazy fucking leg day. Oh my God. So I couldn't take you guys with me for any of it. Gym was just super crowded and uh, just didn't get a really good chance to record anything. But hamstrings, man, hamstrings always feel fucking great. I never have a day, like it doesn't matter how like rough I feel or, how depleted I am or unhydrated. I always get a good hamstring pump. Like fucking phenomenal. And today was certainly no exception. Uh, I did 2 sets, like after warm up and everything. I did 2 sets of laying hamstring curls. Really fucking pushed it. It felt amazing. Then I did 2 sets of seated hamstring curl. Really fucking pushed it. Felt great. And then I did 2 sets of RDLs, moderately heavy. First set was like really slow and controlled. Every rep was very like deliberate. And I did that thing I mentioned where I put like plates under the tips of my toes. Man, it was fucking crazy. It could just be like a confirmation bias type thing or a placebo effect or whatever, but it felt fucking great. After that, warmed up quads, uh, and then I did a set of leg extension, and then I did 2 sets of squats. And I'm not gonna lie, the sets of squats were pretty scrappy. Um, my back just felt a little tender, I guess, so like they weren't great, but I did drop sets after each set, just to really get a good squeeze, so I salvaged it. It was pretty good. Um, After that, 2 sets of leg press, pretty dang heavy. There are 2 leg press machines at my gym. One of them is a lot more like the weight is sitting on top of you. And then the other one, it's almost like a sled where the weight, like you're pushing in front of you. And to be honest, I prefer the one where the weight's on top of you because today I did the one where it's more of a sled. And every time I do that one, my right knee kind of like it puts a lot of pressure on my knee to where it like almost aches after a really good set. So I did 2 sets of that with a sissy squat superset and then burned out with leg extension. You got to see one of those leg extension sets. Uh, oh my God. Fucking phenomenal. The pump, like, I can't think of a good word, a good synonym. Is that a Datsun 280Z? Holy shit. That is fucking clean. Um, but superb doesn't do it justice. Exuberant comes close. Maybe heavenly is the word that I'm looking for. Or immaculate. It was a fucking phenomenal pump. Uh, while I was like posing in the locker room, I took I found a really good pose for both like, it shows quads and hamstrings. Turned the contrast down a little bit and I snapped a photo. Holy shit. Like I was looking at the picture and I couldn't believe that those are my legs. They look fucking phenomenal. Oh man, I need to start doing legs in like short shorts or something just so I can really appreciate the physique. They're fucking amazing. Uh, I'm not going to show anything because I've said it before. That's not really the point of the content. I'm not really interested in showing off to like random people. It's, you know, it's not, I'm not interested in that. But take my word for it. It looked fucking crazy. Uh, man. Oh my God. I don't know what else to say, man. That was a dream. I could not ask for a better lift. Um, like I went into the gym and like I mentioned it earlier, pretty tuckered out. I'm not gonna lie. I was just not feeling it. But man, I made something out of nothing. Oh man, I'm still in awe. I hope that everybody gets to experience the feeling that I got to experience today, because that's kind of what keeps me coming back, is the satisfaction of a really good leg day like that. There's nothing like it. There really is nothing like it. Oh man. I am tuckered out. Whew. But let's see, what can we discuss? I like to throw in, a brief discussion about something. I still gotta order some more beta alanine. The bag that I've been using, I bought like a pretty big, like, bulk. I think the brand is called Bulk Supplements or something. It's like the first result on Amazon if you search beta alanine. And this company, they just sell like whatever ingredient you like in a pre-workout, they will sell that straight up ingredient in bulk. And there was a time where, like, I wasn't really like interested in buying pre-workout because I was still in school. So I didn't have like a regular income. So it was a lot harder to afford pre-workout like I can now. So what I would do is I would order like bulk caffeine, beta alanine. Ah, God, what else? Glycerol. Uh, was it L-carnitine? It was like L-carnitine or tyrosine or, one of the scenes. Or, and so I would put all that in a shaker bottle. And then I would buy like the sugar-free flavor, like squirt things, like the Mio or whatever. I would buy a bunch of that and I would just make my own pre-workout. And to be honest, kind of feel like I should go back to doing that because it was pretty darn good. I put in like creatine and stuff in there as well. But if you're on a budget, that is really not a bad idea. Like when you first make the transaction, like it might cost you like $100 or something to like buy all of the ingredients that you like in a pre-workout. But it really does pay for itself because that $100 that you spent on bulk supplements, it pretty much equivocates to like 4 tubs of whatever pre-workout. Like it really is worth it. The only reason that I'm not really doing it right now is I'm just kind of lazy. And with my work schedule where I gotta like wake up super early in the morning and go to bed pretty early. And, I got to get my gym bag ready with all my work clothes and shower stuff and this, that, and the other. I could make the time for it, but I really just don't feel like it. It's just a lot easier for me to just buy pre-made pre-workout. But if you have that, like, time and you're willing to do it, it's definitely fucking worth it. Oh, man. It was just really nice because the problem with, like, pre-workout that you buy, like, pre-made, if you don't like the flavor, you're kind of fucked. You just kind of have to deal with it. But if you buy the bulk supplement stuff, you can do whatever flavor you want. Like, you can really switch it up. You could do, like, fruit punch, blue raspberry lemonade, like, orange Fanta. Like, it was pretty fucking cool. Like, that's the one thing I really miss about it is just the variety. Man, I'm kind of convincing myself to start doing it again. But I've got a ton of pre-workout I got to get through first. Oh, man. And on the same vein of supplements, there was a period in time where I was buying, like, I think it's just called, like, glycerol. It was like a liquid glycerol. And the idea is it's like a tall bottle and whenever you take it while you take your pre-workouts. I'll just mix it into the pre-workout. But you take the cap of the bottle and you fill the cap up. And the flavor is always like really sour. Like it doesn't matter what flavor you get. It's going to be really sour. I think it's just because it's like concentrated glycerol. But you take a cap of that and then you drink a metric fuck ton of water, like immediately afterward. And for those of you that don't know what glycerol does, it's a very common ingredient in a lot of like pump formulas. What it does is it gets taken up into your muscles, and the glycerol helps with water retention. Like in layman's terms, that's pretty much what it does. So it sucks up all the water in your system and retains it in your muscles. So, I mean, that's what a pump is. The pump is pretty much just water. I mean, obviously it's like your blood pumping in, but to increase your volume, it's all about hydration. So that glycerol capitalizes on that aspect. And so it retains all that water. And the pumps are pretty fucking insane. It's been a really long time since I bought any of it. But I remember when I was taking it while I was doing my bulk. And I remember for some of my arm days, like after an arm day, like the next day, there'd be stretch marks on my biceps. And I think it was just because of how pumped up I was. It was just stretching the skin out. It was pretty fucking crazy. I might have to order some more. The nutrition store that I go to, they used to carry it, but they stopped carrying it now for whatever reason. So that's a big reason of why I haven't been taking it. But anyhow, ranting aside, phenomenal leg day. I wish for all of you to have just as good a leg day as I did today. But we got chest tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be another early morning lift. Like I'm going to be working through the weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it'll be early morning. And, yeah, I'll see you guys for chest.